What's going on, people? Actually, today I'm bringing another tutorial. This one's a really important tutorial. So if you are interested in sound design and you want to sort of really, in a sense, amplify your ability to make really brilliant music or just make songs sound better, this tutorial is definitely for you. Today we're going to be covering the importance of frequency and amplitude in sound design and music engineering. Frequency and amplitude are the basis of all sounds. All sounds are made of an amplitude at a certain frequency. I'm going to just open up the EQ so I can demonstrate this. So if we go to our EQ, I'm going to maximize it. The frequency of a sound has a certain wavelength, which is the distance between the two sound waves that you will hear one after another at the speed of sound. So in this case, here is the first band. And because the wavelengths obviously are are larger at lower frequencies, they take up more of the band, right? And then as you go all the way up to the highest frequencies, you'll find that a lot of the frequencies here tend to be quite close to each other, okay? And the hearing range for a human being is from 20 hertz to 20 kHz. So most EQs you'll find work within that range. And by learning how to amplify and remove certain aspects of the frequencies of the sounds you use, you can either improve sounds or fit sounds more correctly into your beat, mix correctly, or do actual sound design, which would be the process of making or engineering a sound in a synthesizer, additive or subtractive. So to demonstrate this point, we're going to be using the FL Studio Basic 808 with limiter, which you will find right here. And I'm just going to delete the snare because I don't really like how the snare sounds. So I'm going to just delete that. And I'm assuming you guys probably have drum packs. Drum packs tend to come with 808s. So let's just grab, this is probably my favorite pack. I'll be sure to put it in the description. It has a really nice 808. The 808 lasts for a long time and it has pretty nice grit as well. So I'm going to just put this above the kick. So I'm going to put the 808 to route 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we have an 808, a kick, a clap, and a hat. Okay. And I'm going to show you more about the beauty of sound design as we start to add certain percussions to our sound to make the drum loop more interesting. But let's start with our we'll start with the 808 that came with FL Studio because this one could do with the most modulation. So it's in our mixer 2 or the router to 2. So we're going to open up the EQ on that 808 and let's again look at the timbre of the sound. So it's obviously playing mostly in the lowest pitches, which is what gives it the 808 characteristic. If you remove the lower frequencies, then you will have more of an instrument. So let's see what we can do with that if we actually bring out the harmonics of that particular instrument. I want to actually use the App Filter Pro Q, which I recommend if you are interested in sound design. This is something of a must-have. You can obviously buy it or you can get it through more questionable means. I don't judge. Let's open up a Pro Q3. And I think it's pretty large already, so I could probably make it even bigger. Let's make it large. Okay. There we go. So we're playing in C. So one of the main frequency would obviously be C. So if we bring up C quite a lot, now we're hearing the sine wave of C. And what we can do is by bringing out C at every octave, you can make what would the word be? You can make the harmonic series, essentially. Just without all of the in-between frequencies. So let's find the next C, which is right here. Okay, let's go ahead and add in one more interesting filter, which is basically going to be a high pass filter, essentially. So we're going to do a high pass filter. We want it on 3 bands, mastering 3 bands. a high pass filter. Or actually, sorry, no, what I want is not a high pass filter. I want to bring out the noise that's in the background. And so what I've done is I've emphasized the root note C multiple times, and I have created a completely different sound. What does this sound like? Hard to say, really. It depends how you modulate it from here. Of course, you could add some reverb. Let's actually use the reverb that comes with FL Studio. And we'll put it on these, maybe the small studio. And I think that's a really interesting sound. Again, we've just amplified specific frequencies of the sound to recreate this kick into something that is no longer a kick. So how about we duplicate the kick and just route it to 3 instead, and this will be our kick, and maybe this can be like an instrument. I'm not too sure what kind of instrument, but let's just call it some kind of just call it instrument, as like that. Yep, perfect. And we'll just rename this to kick. And now let's actually make a kick. So of course this is the default kick. Analyze it in the EQ. And what we can do is we can bring out the kick more, make certain frequencies of the kick stand out. One aspect of the kick is its upper harmonics. Let's make those more present. And of course, all kicks must have a lot of beef to them, so we can emphasize the bass. Perfect. What we can also do is we can basically distort it, which will drive it up, and add some it depends on the distortion's algorithm, but it's basically going to multiply the wave by itself. So now that kick is really booming. That's a really, really intense kick. So without, with, completely different sound, so much better than it was before. Let's go into our 808. It's a really nice 808. Let's have a look at its structure. This 808 is literally like in any kind of drum pack you can think of that exists, you will find this particular 808. People just like copy and paste and rename them. So let me put it on cut itself so you don't hear it in as feedback. So the premise of an 808 depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for an 808 that goes absolutely crazy, has a lot of grit to it and bite and almost sounds like an electric guitar, then you're obviously going to want to emphasize the frequencies that you find in an electric guitar, which happen to be around the 5 and 6 mark typically, especially with 5. What we can do is we can add in, again, distortion. We can use a different algorithm. Let's try fast distort. Distortion, fast distort. Of course, you can add like things like reverb. It depends what you're going for. And you can apply multiple filters to it as well, so you can really sort of emphasize the frequencies you're looking for. Let's put this to steep and see. Awesome. Let's add an imager to that so that it spaces it out. Okay, so you should also, if you can get in free images like Ozone 2, that's completely free. You don't have to pay for that. What we want to do is you want to just space out the 808. Now, of course, you don't have to do 808s this way. If you're just looking to beef up the 808 so it just hits harder, then a simple blood overdrive and an emphasis of the lower harmonics of your 808 suffices that perfectly. So wait for my FL Studio to start responding again. There we go. So our 808 should be back to normal again. And what we can do is we can basically just increase the bass of the 808, quite literally. And then just add a little bit of overdrive so it's a bit more beef, a little bit beefier. And we can obviously draw these instruments in. So let's start. Let's turn it down a bit. We're turning it down a little bit so the 808 can occupy those frequencies more. Let's add the clap in where the sort of drum sound is hitting. Let's make this wider. Awesome. And let's improve the clap. So the claps on route are fixed to or routed to 4. Claps, you don't really need to do a lot with them. Sometimes a nice reverb is all you need. So let's just add in some reverb to the clap. Awesome. For the hi-hats, we can just fill in each 2 steps. Simple enough. So what else can we do? Well, let's add in a percussion instrument, right? So we can go back into our stock drums and find some percussion. I like this sound. Let's put it on number 6. I want to make sure that I'm going to go to Pro Key 3. Sometimes the parametric EQ isn't that powerful, so you need to default. In the tambourine, let's see what frequencies are being played and see if we want to remove some or include more. So in our frequency analyzer, I give it a pause, we can see what the main frequencies that are playing. So recall, we are playing this tambourine sort of instrument in C, right, on our piano roll. But it's actually playing in A. So it's playing, in this case, I believe it would be what? Two frequencies lower. So if we decrease the pitch in our piano roll by what, like this, I believe. We just got to bring it up by 1 octave, or sorry, 1 semitone. So we have our tambourine. By me analyzing it in our EQ, I found that the root note was just a couple semitones of C. So I've reduced it down to C. So now the harmonics, which are the pointy bits of our sound, are now playing in tune with the beat, and the noise will also be more integrated. And it's playing C, D, E, F, okay, and then it's going to C sharp. So it's like a very out of tune sound by nature. Now you have to make a decision. What frequencies do you want to be a part of the tambourine? That like sort of siny resonance is caused by this amplitude here. So by removing it, we can make it sound a little bit less resonate, or a little bit less muddy, I guess. Now with a little bit of reverb so that it fills the room. And by only allowing the wet, you only allow the rebound, which creates a softer sound, which can really add to a beat. Okay. Yeah, I think I would like there to be this. So what you have to remember is for all of the instruments that you have, they're all typically playing at a different root note. So if you ever add an instrument to your song and it sounds out of key, although when you change the key of the instrument, it's going to make the instrument not its original sound, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to sound nice. As long as you're comfortable with making the concession that it's not going to sound exactly like a tambourine, then you should be okay with it. Sounds like this are meant to be slightly out of pitch with the actual music, so you can hear them more clearly anyway. So let's check out this wood hit as our final percussion on number 7. Nice. I want to add delay bank, and I want it to bounce in between my ears. So I'm going to put it on ping pong. And I want it to bounce at a slower rate. So in the time section of this, let's add an imager to it. And let's put a reverb on it. And a pan man. Pan man is like an alternative to the panner that comes with FL Studio. I don't remember where it is. It might be in Dynamics. Panamatic. So Panamatic is like the one that comes with FL Studio. Pan man is just a Soundtoys one. You don't need Pan man to make panning sounds. You can just use the one that comes with FL Studio, or you can pan it in the graph editor. I'm just going to put it on Spaz Random. I'm going to slow it down. So it's much more metally. So that's with. And that's without. Okay, that's sounding really, really cool. So I'm already happy with those instruments. How can we add something else to the song? So how about we add a melody? Yo, this is post Ash here. This is the end of part 1. In part 2, we're gonna add in the melody. And I'll edit part 2 at some point, like either today or tomorrow or whenever I'm free. I have work tomorrow, so I'll probably have to edit it tomorrow. But yeah, if you enjoyed part 1, yeah, stay tuned for part 2. We're gonna add in the melody. I really liked how the melody came out. Actually, it was really cool, and you're gonna learn how to adding melodies so that they do not sound muddy, so that they are equalized properly and mastered properly. And I'm also going to show you again like how you can use frequency and amplitude to actually design your melodies in the way that you want it to sound. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And again, thanks for watching. Peace out.